Hello and welcome to the Cameron Roger highlights for the 2023 FSR Pro Championship. We're here for round 7 at Monza, the Temple of Speed, and once again we've bottled qualifying. Did a 0.9, we should have done a 0.6 and been up there in the top 6-7, but instead we are down here in P16. Our teammate Tom Alderminger actually did do good qualifying. He's next to his championship rival Victor Ivanov, who can win the championship here today. One stop race. So we're going to have to just try and pick off cars one by one and work our way forward. It's going to be very difficult though, but let's see how it goes. 5 red lights come on and we get underway. 43 laps of action. We get a really good start. You go to the right hand side of the TX3 car, but he squeezes out. Don't want to go onto that grass. So we have to just brake now nice and conservatively in towards the first chicane as ever. You almost come to a stop. A little bit of a rub and a bump here and there. Absolutely sending it over the curb for the TX3 car, but we managed to get away pretty nicely actually. But we do lose a place, unfortunately, to Zalagianis there, the ground effect car on that left hand side. So we think about having a run here because you can use loads of push to pass on his opening lap so you don't clip the battery. But no, we're going to be braking conservative once again. But the opportunity comes up around the outside. Is going to be over the inside curb, but we managed to just about get past back up into our P16 place. And overall, a pretty solid first sector there. But we do need to be careful to not let the gaps open up ahead if we want to be making some opportunities. And at the end of lap 1, as you see, is one long train. So this is going to be okay, but a lot of places to be made if we want to be getting up into the good points finishes. And into Parabolica, we're going to be just taking it nice and easy, but what we do is we go too easy. We're now going to give a chance for Nizio to try and come back down this front straight. It's so long and you can use that push to pass really effectively actually to try and go through, and that's exactly what he did. So we just come into the racing line, but no, we're going to send it back down the inside, catch him unawares hopefully, to keep that position, because we know we are faster than all these guys ahead. I was really actually pretty confident, quietly confident coming into this race of my pace, and a really good strategy plan as well, as you can see with my teammate up the front. But unfortunately we're having to do the hard work in this first stint to get and try and catch back up to them. The main factor here, as you see, is that Mancini now, he's starting to have a gap up ahead. We don't want to lose the slipstream, we don't want to lose the battles from the cars ahead, so we're going to have to try and get past. He doesn't defend too hard, so we just have a nice clean overtake here, up to P15 already by lap 3. So we need to just make sure we get onto the back of that Netrex car and try and find a way through onto that train. The good thing here though is because whoever's leading the train is going quite slow, by lap 5 we've been able to catch up, and we're still very much in this battle, and the guys behind are starting to drop back. So it's looking pretty good. We're controlling the race well so far. And now by lap 7, look at this gaggle of cars up ahead. There are some opportunities, and we know this is how we're going to have to start moving up the train. We have the opportunity here to get both Netrex cars, so I go to the right-hand side of both. Danny Van Den Eek cuts me off last minute, but we keep our foot in there, and we keep going. Side by side now it's going to be with Lianos coming down in towards the first corner. I want to complete this double overtake because the TX3 car is right in front of me. We can use his slipstream, and that's worked out well, moving up from P15 to P13. And I'm pretty happy with how this race is going so far. But another lap later, we decide this is our opportunity to try and get past this Vagapov just ahead. But once again, the gaps are opening up, so you need to time these overtakes. But he seems to want to defend this one, which is pretty annoying. Would have liked to get past, but we also gained another place there because Barbakov had a bit of an issue just coming into turn 1 that time around. So it's now P12 for us as it stands. Onto the front straight though, lap 9 already, coming on to start lap 10, and we're going to be getting ourselves up towards P11 with a nice move around the outside. It's going to be with Vagapov. He doesn't defend it too hard though this time around. We brake nice and late, cover that one off. Now you see the one by one, we are dropping the cars behind and they are losing the train, but I'm making the progress and I'm keeping forward with the train, so we clearly have some decent speed compared to the guys at the front. There's one of the Iris cars leading the train, and already on lap 11, so a quarter of the way in the race, we are looking good. Someone, I think, made a pit stop, so we've moved our way now up into P10 by lap 15. A few laps later, we are very much in the train. This is Miganov in front of us for Valet Esports, and we want to try and get past, but it's actually Zalagianis who makes a mistake, and that forces Miganov a bit too much dirty air and a bit too eager on the throttle to get past himself. He spins it up, and we're now up towards P9. Zaligianis up in front of us, and he's already looking to be struggling just a little bit potentially on the tyres. He makes a mistake in the Parabolica, so now we know this is our opportunity once again to make the move up the train. This is all we're doing. We're just waiting the opportunity, taking it, and working our way slowly up towards the front. This will be P8 if we can get past. He is going to defend though, hard braking. Is going to have to be in towards turn number 1. We slightly locked the rears, but we managed to just control it. We give him just about enough space, but he goes over the chicane anyway. Probably the right idea. And he is going to drop back there into P9. As you see, we go down the inside. It's going to be pretty tight, just ever so slightly locking, but we managed to make it stick over the curb, leaving him tons of space. He is coming a little bit tight. I am just getting a bit of understeer on that curb, but as you see, at all times we were trying to leave him space, but probably was the smarter option for him to go across the chicane. So we make that position up into P8. So from P16, we've already made 8 positions, and we haven't even had the first pit stop yet. So this is looking really good so far. It's feeling very nice about the tyres and such at this point as well. But someone who potentially wasn't was these Iris cars up ahead. So that's my teammate Tom Alderminger, just 1 car ahead as well. So he started P4, and we've already caught up to him almost. So this is going very nicely. Buchau is going slowly though, coming towards Parabolica. So we have a thing around the outside potentially, but he defends that one nicely. So let's get back in the slipstream, have a bit of a run up towards the front straight. Defends, but actually no, he's going into the pit lane. He is 2-stopping today. That is going to be a pretty awkward strategy for them. The 2-stop is just flat out slower, to be honest. And also, it seems that they've run out of battery, because he was pretty easy to catch. And now also his teammate Lahu coming up towards Ascari. That's going to be a nice easy pass for us as well. P6 is going to be after 17 laps. We are in a very strong position to get a good result. And to be honest, at this point in the race, look at the train up ahead of us. I was actually thinking maybe a podium, maybe even a race win with how things are worked out. Lap 22 though, 5 laps later, we've had to push a bit to get on the back of a few cars up ahead. You see Ivanov now is leading. We've got Seva in there. We've got, I think it's Munier and my teammate Tom Alderminger. Now this is Fletcher. He's starting to struggle a little bit. He's dropped back from his front 4. So to be honest, I'm thinking he hasn't got much battery left, so we're going to try and get past him here. We want to keep on going with our teammate Alderminger. We want to try and get up towards that podium battle, so we try and not absolutely dump it, but also enough to at least have a go in towards turn number 1. He breaks a little bit early, so around the outside we're going to go. Bit of contact is made. Oh, we've lost the rear end, and we go onto the curb. We don't want to get beached on there, so we spin around. And having said that, this wasn't the most efficient way of getting back to the racing line, to be honest, so we lost a little bit more time, but certainly just very awkward. We go around the outside. He does squeeze me a little bit towards the white line, but this is all good so far. As we come towards the apex, we're giving each other some room. He does go slightly wide. I mean, actually, having said that, he's not making the apex. He's pushing me wide. Pushes that front end, and unfortunately, he has a bit of a ping-pong on the rear tyre. That is what ultimately pushes around. If you look at his rear left tyre here, boom, just touches us. Really unlucky. And just before that contact, I was about to straight line the chicane, but things happen, and lap 23. This is the absolute earliest that I wanted to pit anyway, but I used the opportunity for the undercut. Really, 18 laps, another 2 laps. Lap 25 was the pit lap, but this was the earliest if I wanted to get an undercut, and we need to use it. We need to try and get some of that time lost. So let's get the undercut and let's see what happens. And it works out pretty well, actually. We come out in completely clean air, and we can set some decent lap times. Lap 24. So we got 20 laps to go. Mancini now 3 laps later. I can't remember exactly what he was doing. I think he hasn't stopped yet so far. The issue is everyone else has. You can see Munier up there. You can see Fletcher. And you've got Barbakov coming in behind us now after his spin earlier. He's actually having a bit of resurgence of speed. And, of course, his teammate Mancini. I wouldn't say necessarily holds me up, but definitely doesn't make it too easy for me. And this is giving Barbakov a bit of a run down towards turn number 1. But we need to look out. We've got our teammate Alderminger up ahead as well. So the opportunities are still there despite that spin to get onto the podium. We just need to make sure we're controlling the next 5-10 laps well so that we can catch them and potentially have that battle. But lap 29 on to lap 30, Barbakov is looking pretty racy, and he decides this is his opportunity. He wants to try and move forward. And as you see, there is Alderminger. He's just lost, unfortunately, one of the Irish cars, and Fletcher just up ahead of us. He actually has some damage at this point. So he had some contact with one of the Iris cars, and he has some pretty hefty damage. He's quite a bit slower, so he is going to be a target for us in the coming laps. So here's the cars up ahead that we are looking out for, and of course those Iris cars do have an extra pit stop because they are 2-stopping, as well as Zalagianis, who is leading the way. So there are some more positions coming our way through strategy. Barbakov, though, a lap later decides to go past. So a further lap later, we decide also this is the time to get past Tom. Of course, Tom, we're in communication during the race. He's not going to be battling me at this point. He knows the situation, and he was just trying to survive to the end with that damage. And already Barbakov has got past Lahu as well. So that is something that we need to look out for a little bit later. So let's try and get past him. Let's try and get past the Iris car. Lap 32 on towards lap 33, but no, he's actually going to make his second pit stop, and now we've got a big gap ahead of us to Barbakov. He's managed to pull away, but by lap 37, 5 laps later, we've caught up to him. We have good pace. Our tyres are holding on well despite pitting pretty much the earliest of anyone. We are holding on to them, and our pace has been pretty good today, so we are looking very nice. P5 as well from P16, and this is going to be P4 if we can get Barbakov with just a few laps to go, 5 laps to go in this race. Down the inside is going to be a Barbakov. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to go past or save some extra push to pass, but look at that battle. That is P2 and P3 up ahead, and we are catching them. So I was thinking, let's try and sort of push a little bit, but unfortunately we couldn't quite catch them. Lap 42. We're close, but we're about 2.5 seconds behind. Not enough to have a go. So we need to just think about Barbakov now. But of course, he's saved a bit of push to pass himself in behind. But potentially, is there an opportunity for this second place? Sever wants to get it on this penultimate lap, but Fletcher is holding on with Ivanov now up the road in that P1 position. Barbakov in that 5th place now is in behind, but we also have to think about Zalagianis, who's chasing down. So Barbakov, he knows this, 1.5 laps to go. He needs to try and get past me. Up towards Ascari, he's going to go. Have a bit of a look. I try and just give him a little nudge, say no, don't do it here, but he does so. So I have to complete the defensive manoeuvre, and it actually works out pretty well because he gets a little bit of dirty air, can't quite get on the power. And we do actually get a bit of a gap coming down this back straight. But this is the final opportunity now in towards turn number 1. Sever and Fletcher still battling up the front. There's always the half opportunity that they could battle. But let's focus on ourselves in towards the Parabolica. We do have a decent amount of push to pass, but I want to save it for later on in the lap as well. So we use a decent amount, but of course Barbakov is just going to send it on that push to pass. He's going to try and get past me. We go side by side down in towards the first corner. We're going to try and break quite late. Bit of contact. Further contact is made. We go for a second spin, almost identical to the one earlier, and we do a bit of more of a flick spin to get back going. But unfortunately, Zalagianis gets past, and also Danny van der Neet. So we drop down in towards 7th place. We lose 3 places ultimately from this battle. Let's have a look at this one. Barbakov, he gets the position. We're going to try and have the later braking, but unfortunately a bit of contact is made. Let's see this one again. Basically, we did want to brake on the white line because you do have sort of a bit of a bump, bit less grip. So Barbakov there, he does also come into me a little bit, but I come into him at the same time. But the main issue here is you're going to see I brake much later and unfortunately just make the tiniest bit of contact, and this pushes him onto the grass ultimately. And that is what spins him into my car. We did have a bit of discussion post-race about this, and yeah, we did sort of agree on that. Probably a bit of contact was my fault there, and yeah, unfortunately this is the bit that really killed it. So he spins, goes into me. This isn't so bad, but look at his rear right tyre. He just pulls me, nice R factor 2 physics, just pulls me around. Very frustrated with that one, unfortunately. Just got a bit unlucky. Of course, it was my fault with the contact, but I was a bit unlucky with the further sliding. And if you look here, we're coming up towards the Parabolica, and here is Viktor Ivanov taking the championship with the race victory. So he really weren't that far off the lead, despite having 2 spins in towards turn 1. I was, to be honest, I was pretty happy, but with the pace and with the tyre wear. But unfortunately, we bottled a podium, and as you see there, my team at Oldeminger coming in 8th place as well, just 13 seconds, 14 seconds off the lead for us. We were 8 seconds off the lead after lap 1. We got it down to about 5, but in the end, 13 with 2 spins. So Tom is now down to 3rd place in the championship. I'm down into 11th place. Frustrating afternoon. We're sitting in 3rd place, just 4 points off NX27 as well. So let's see if we can try and get up to 2nd place in the Constructors by the end of the season. That would be very good. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. But let's at least try and battle for a podium and have a bit more of a clean race. Also, not bottling qualifying will probably help our chances.